Alright, so today I'm going to teach you a little bit about the website Quizizz and how it can help you build quick, easy, formative assessments. First thing we're going to do is go to the website quizizz.com. It's a quiz with the IZZ added on. Of course, you're going to have to set up a login. It's easy to sign in. I like that Chrome remembers your password and login for you. All right, so up here we have some choices. We can search for public quizzes here. We can look at our own quizzes that we've made in the past here. We can create quizzes, or we can go to reports of quizzes that we've already done. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to create your own quizzes. So the first thing it's going to ask you is to name your quiz, and I'm going to name mine 3.1.2 volume practice with prisms. And you can make it public or private if you wanted to keep it private. And if it was a full-on quiz or something, you could keep it private, but most of all of mine are public. So we click done, we come up here to the top, and we search for something that we're going to make our assessment about. So you saw that mine was over volume, and I'm going to type in prisms. So we type in volume prisms, and we hit go, and all of these are crowdsourced quizzes that were made by other people, and so you can see lots and lots of assessments. So it's similar to Kahoots in that way. But when I click on this assessment and I like this question right here, then when I click on it, it just goes over here, and now it's on my assessment. That may be the only one that I like that I see off of this assessment. So now I go to a different assessment and I click on this right here, that's the volume formula for prisms. Okay, that's the one that I like, and I like this question because I have to know what the big B stands for, so I click on that. So I've got three kind of background questions right here, and now I want to go back up here to some of this right here. There's a rectangular prism, boom, now it's on my assessment. I like this question right here, boom, now it's on my assessment. I like this one here, and I like this one down here. Now I'm up to 8 questions. I would like to get some word problems. Oh, look, here's a fish tank, 45 centimeters length, width 25, depth 10. That's a great word problem over this one, so I click here. Let's see if I can find another word problem. Oh, here's one I like. There's no numbers there, and they have to find the volume. Let's look at this one here. Here's a word problem. Let's see. The volume is 125. If the height is 25, what's the area of the base? I like that because they have to go backwards. So I click on that. I'm up to 11 questions, but notice this first question was left blank. They populate the first question blank. So if I close this out, I can see all of my questions, right? I click on number 1 and it's blank. Number 2 is that good question, what is volume, right? And they have to know the amount of space in a 3D object. So I want to delete question 1 because I don't like it, plus that puts me back at 10 questions, which is what I want. So I've got 10 questions. I could edit the quiz info if I wanted to change the name and say 10 questions. Now that I'm done, I could do that. But I'm done, so I'm ready to finish. So I finish. I tell it that this should be probably between grade 8 and grade 10. I tell it that it's math. I come down to geometry. I could tag it by saying volume and prisms. Boom. Those are 2 tag words that go with this assessment, and that makes it easier for other people to find mine. Now, what are my choices here? So it immediately put me out in this menu here, but I could get back to that if I click on my quiz, and here's the quiz that I just made. It tells me I made it 6 minutes ago. So I click on it, I'm back to this screen here. I can play it live or I can do homework. All right, let's do both of these and see what they say. So I click on Play Live. I can jumble up the questions, the answers, show review. Most of the time I leave all of these on. I leave the leaderboard on because that pits the kids against each other and they love that. One thing I am going to turn off is this timer though, because it stresses the kids out. There's a bar that moves across the screen and they get less and less points the longer they take. So I like my settings. I scroll back up and I proceed. Now I spit out to this right here. The kids on their devices, they go to joinquizzes.com and they type in this game code right here and their names would pop up. Once their names pop up, I click Start Game and it's a live game. And you can kind of monitor the kids as they're playing the game and working their way through. Hadn't got to the best part yet. So I want to cancel this game. I want to go back. Let's see if it'll go back. There it goes. It went back automatically. I go to my quiz. Here I am back at this screen now. Instead of playing live, I now want to assign it as homework. Okay, so I click on here. I tell it that I want it due tomorrow. March 8th is tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I change this to 8 a.m. and that's when this homework is going to be due. I can do the same settings, turning the timer off down here that I do when I play it live, and I proceed. And so now all I get is this game code, and it's really nice because now the students, I can just write that on the board at the beginning of the day, and as my students cycle through my classes, I can say 67607 is the homework for tonight. And that's 10 easy questions over volume practice with Prisms that they can do on their device at home, and it's awesome. So I can also share this on Google Classroom, which is nice. I click right here if you're familiar with Google Classroom. If you're using Google Classroom, it's nice. All I have to do is choose my class right here. If I want to put it in second period as an assignment, I'm not going to do it because it would assign it to second period. But I could assign it, click right there, and boom, it pops it in their Google Classroom. So if you're already using Google Classroom, and it's an outstanding resource that's free and easy to use. Not the best part yet, okay? So now, what is the best part? Well, here's my quizzes. Here's where I created them. Here's the reports. So I go to reports, and we're going to look at Lindsay's cooking quiz. This is a quiz that I made 7 days ago. I gave it to my daughter. My wife actually made it over cooking questions. If you notice, I had made some for right here. I'd made her third grade quiz. I got tired of making them. She's begging me to make them. So I showed my wife how easy it was to make a quiz on Quiziz, and she made her a question. All right, so this is my daughter's results. Here are the questions 1 through 20, right? And you can see how my daughter did. She made 100 on this question. Well, she missed this question, right? If I click right here, it says that Lindsay thought to cut food in small to regular pieces was to dice it. That's a pretty good guess, but the correct answer was chop. Here's another one that she missed. To rub food over a tool that has holes. She put colander, and the answer was grate. Okay? So it's really neat down here. She didn't know what a baker's dozen was. And so it's a very teachable moment for me to be able to tell her that a baker's dozen was 13. She put 12. Okay? This is the questions. This is the players. So if I do players, I can see all of my students and I can see how they're doing. This tells me that Lindsay got 14 out of 20 right. If I expand over here, I can see which questions she got right and which ones she missed. So I can see which is the most missed questions, or I can see which are the players down here at the bottom. I'll show you a different one. Down here at the bottom, I can see which students are having the most trouble on the material. So let's look at this question. This quiz is right here. This was on right triangle, inverse trig. So by questions, I can see easily that this question here was the most missed question on this quiz. I can click on it right here. I can hover over it. How do you know which side is opposite? And I can talk about that on the smartboard with the students. I can see which students got it right and which students missed it. I wouldn't want to put that on the smartboard, but I could see which students got it right and which students missed it. If I want to see it not by question, but by player, I can click on players. I can see that I had a 65% accuracy. I had 100 players do this quiz. It's only 15 questions. Look at all these students that made a 100. Oh, here are the students that only missed one question. Here are the students that missed 2 questions. But if I scroll all the way down here at the bottom, here are the students that didn't finish or didn't do well for whatever reason. And these are the students that I can focus my remediation on the next day. And so it's very good. Quizizz is very good. It's a very good tool to be able to create short, quick, formative assessments that drive instruction for the next day's instruction. I use it for ticket out the door. I use it for homework, and it's been an outstanding tool for me. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please let me know.